There is a story about biryani that has been repeated so many times it has essentially become accepted fact. According to this widely shared legend,
Empress!
the Mughal
Salute!
empress Mumtaz Mahal, the same woman for whom the Taj Mahal was later built, once visited an army barracks and found the soldiers malnourished and undernourished. Moved by what she saw, she supposedly instructed the royal kitchen to prepare a single, nutritionally complete dish combining meat,
This feast
rice,
must
and
be fit
spices
for a
in
king.
one pot,
It will be
capable
done,
of
my lord.
feeding an entire army efficiently. That dish, according to the legend, became biryani. It is a wonderful story. It is also almost certainly not true, and understanding why reveals something far more interesting about how biryani actually came
Is
to
the fire
exist.
hot enough? It is. We need
The
more
first
wood.
serious problem with the Mumtaz Mahal origin story is chronological. Rice and meat dishes cooked together using layering and spicing techniques recognizably similar to biryani appear in historical and culinary records that
Long
predate
ago,
Mumtaz Mahal's
The
lifetime
stars guided
by
our
a
people
significant
across
margin.
this land. They remind
Mumtaz
us
Mahal
who we
lived
are.
in the early 17th century during the reign of her husband, the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan, and died in 1631. But combined rice and meat preparations using techniques directly comparable to biryani were already established well before that period, appearing in earlier Persian and Central Asian culinary traditions. And food historians studying South Asian cuisine have found no reliable primary historical documentation actually connecting Mumtaz Mahal specifically to the invention or naming of the dish. The story appears to have circulated as popular folklore, gaining traction precisely because it was a compelling, emotionally resonant narrative involving a genuinely famous historical figure, rather than because contemporary historical sources actually support it. To understand where biryani most likely does come from, it helps to start with the word itself. Biryani derives from Persian, most likely from the Persian word birinj, meaning rice, or possibly related to a Persian term, connected to frying or roasting, reflecting the dish's likely Persian and Central Asian culinary roots, rather than a purely indigenous South Asian invention. This linguistic
That will be
origin
2
points
dinars
directly
for
toward
the
the
saffron,
broader
my lady.
historical reality.
Here you are. Thank you.
Food historians
That
generally
will be 2
consider
dinars
far more
for
credible.
the saffron, my lady.
Biryani
Here you
likely
are. Thank
developed
you.
gradually through Persian and Central Asian culinary influence, entering the Indian subcontinent over an extended period, carried by successive waves of trade, migration, and conquest, rather than being invented in a single dramatic moment by a single historical figure. Persian and Central Asian cooking traditions had long featured pilaf-style dishes, rice cooked together with meat, stock, and aromatic spices.
This
A cooking
feast looks
tradition with
absolutely
genuinely
magnificent.
ancient
Move it!
roots
Fire up the
across the
main!
broader
Trays
Persian
moving to
cultural
the right
sphere.
now! Ready for the sauce!
As various Turkic, Persian, and Central Asian dynasties and traders moved into and through the Indian subcontinent over many centuries. Beginning well before the Mughal Empire's establishment in the 16th century, they brought pilaf-style cooking traditions with them, which gradually interacted with, and were transformed by, existing South Asian culinary traditions, spice combinations, and local ingredients already present across the region. This is a critical distinction food historians consistently emphasize. Biryani was very likely not a single, one-time invention at all, but rather a genuine culinary evolution, a gradual fusion process occurring over centuries as Persian and Central Asian rice and meat cooking techniques met and blended with existing South Asian culinary traditions, regional spice profiles, and local cooking methods, producing
Now we layer
over
the
time
spiced
and
meat
across different
directly on
regions,
top of the rice.
something
This
recognizably
helps the
distinct
flavors to
from its
fuse
Persian
as it
pilaf
finishes
ancestors,
steaming.
while still clearly related to them. The specific elaborate layering technique most associated with modern biryani, where partially cooked rice and meat are layered together and then sealed and slow cooked in a single pot, a technique often called dum cooking, likely represents a significant regional South Asian culinary innovation and refinement built on top of that earlier Persian and Central Asian foundation, rather than something imported wholesale and unchanged. The Mughal court, which ruled over large portions of the Indian subcontinent from the early 16th century through the mid-19th century, almost certainly played a genuinely significant role in biryani's development and eventual widespread popularization, but in a considerably less dramatic and far more gradual way than the Mumtaz Mahal legend suggests. Mughal royal kitchens were renowned for extraordinary culinary sophistication, employing skilled chefs specifically tasked with refining and elaborating existing dishes, blending Persian, Central Asian, and Indian culinary traditions into increasingly elaborate
I
court
hope everyone
cuisine
likes the
over
biryani.
generations. Precisely the kind of
absolutely
institutional
delicious.
environment where a dish like biryani could undergo continuous refinement across many decades and multiple rulers, rather than being invented in a single moment by a single royal decree. As Mughal political power and cultural influence spread and eventually fragmented across the subcontinent, particularly following the gradual decline of centralized Mughal authority,
Now,
beginning in the
we'll let
18th
that
century, regional courts and successor states
Refer
across
to your
different
digital
parts
guide
of
for the
India
exact timing.
developed their own increasingly distinct interpretations of Mughal-influenced court cuisine, including their own regional variations on biryani, each shaped by locally available ingredients, existing regional culinary traditions, and the specific tastes and preferences of individual regional rulers and their kitchens. This process is
That will be
precisely
2
why
dinars
biryani today
for the saffron, my
exists
lady.
not as one
Here you are.
single
Thank you.
uniform dish,
That will be 2 dinars
but as an
for the
entire
saffron, my
family
lady.
of related
Here you
regional
are. Thank you.
preparations, each with genuinely distinct characteristics, historical development, and passionately devoted regional followings. Hyderabadi biryani, developed within the historical Hyderabad state under Nizam rule, is generally distinguished by its kachi, or raw marinated, cooking method, where raw
This
marinated
feast
meat
looks
is layered
absolutely
directly with
magnificent.
partially cooked rice and then slow cooked together, producing a specific texture and flavor profile distinct from other regional styles. Lucknawi, or Awadhi, biryani, developed within the historical Awadh region, typically uses a paki, or pre-cooked, method instead, where meat is cooked separately before being layered with rice, generally producing a more subtly spiced, refined flavor profile associated with that specific court tradition. Kolkata biryani, which developed later, carries its own distinct historical origin, generally traced to the displacement and migration of the last Nawab of Awadh to Kolkata in the mid-19th century, following the British East India Company's annexation of Awadh, bringing Awadhi culinary traditions and skilled royal cooks into an entirely new regional context, where the dish subsequently evolved further, notably incorporating potatoes into the preparation, a distinctive ingredient rarely found in other major regional biryani traditions. Beyond these more widely recognized styles, additional distinct regional variations developed across other
Now
parts
we layer
of the
the spiced
subcontinent,
meat directly
including
on
Malabar
top of the
biryani
rice.
in Kerala,
This helps the flavors
which
to
incorporates
fuse
a
as it
specific
finishes
short-grain
steaming.
rice variety and coastal spice influences distinct from the basmati rice, generally used in North Indian and Hyderabadi styles, along with numerous other regional and community-specific variations developed across different parts of India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh over subsequent generations, each reflecting local ingredients, culinary traditions, and community history. Understanding biryani's actual, considerably more gradual, and geographically distributed origin story matters beyond simple historical accuracy, because it reflects something genuinely important about how the dish continues to function culturally today. Biryani is not merely a single historical artifact frozen in time from one royal kitchen. It is a living culinary tradition
I hope everyone
that has
likes the
continued
biryani.
evolving for centuries
It
and
is
continues
absolutely
evolving
delicious.
today, shaped by successive waves of migration, trade, regional identity, and, in more recent history, the significant impact of the South Asian diaspora, carrying and further adapting different regional biryani traditions to new countries and new culinary contexts around the world. The persistent popularity of the Mumtaz Mahal origin legend, despite the lack of solid historical evidence directly supporting it, likely says less about biryani's actual documented history and considerably more about the enduring emotional and cultural appeal of a dramatic, personally attributed origin story involving a famous historical figure, a familiar and recurring pattern found across many different food origin myths worldwide, where a compelling, emotionally satisfying narrative frequently displaces a messier, more gradual,
Now, we'll let that
and
simmer.
considerably less dramatic historical reality.
Refer to your
Involving
digital guide
trade
for the
routes,
exact timing.
cultural exchange, and centuries of incremental culinary refinement across many different regions and generations, rather than a single dramatic moment of royal inspiration. If this story surprised you, subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Drop a comment and tell us which regional biryani you consider the definitive version, and what other food origin myth you want us to investigate next.